Have you ever noticed how the people who try the hardest to bring you down seem the most obsessed with you? Let me tell you something. Your indifference is driving them crazy, and that's the best revenge you could ever have. Their words, no matter how loud or venomous, hold no weight. Gossip is an echo chamber for the insecure, a feeble attempt to tether you to their discontent. But you've dismantled that illusion. You've wielded truth like a blade, cutting through the noise. "What you think of me is none of my business," Eleanor Roosevelt declared, a mantra you've made your armor. Their chatter, their assumptions, their petty conjectures, irrelevant. You know this truth. Their words can only pierce if you choose to carry them. You refuse to shoulder their projections. Every whisper meant to rattle you falls flat, becoming a testament to their smallness. They've tried to make you a reflection of their fears, but you've built a mirror too sharp for their gaze. You've internalized strength, not their opinions. You've chosen clarity over their confusion, purpose over their chaos. Say it in the comments, declare it. I step over nonsense. Because you do. Their gossip, their narratives, it is all dust beneath your stride. You've elevated above their reach, making the choice every day to let their words decay on their own. To respond would lend it power, but your silence is a rejection, louder than their cries. You've mastered being unbothered, not by avoidance, but by sheer understanding of your worth. You know who you are, and that knowledge is untouchable. Let them talk. Their noise fuels your ascent. They thought they could scatter seeds of doubt, but those seeds withered in barren soil. People are waking up, no longer blinded by their facade. The air around them grows heavy, not with power, but with the weight of their choices. They sought to isolate you, but their poison has circled back, and they now stand alone, a victim of their own design. This is karma, not as some abstract force, but as the undeniable consequence of their actions. Negativity, when wielded recklessly, becomes a boomerang, and it has returned to them, forceful and unrelenting. You, however, chose a different path. You didn't chase retribution. You didn't stoop to their level. You stayed still, composed, and focused on the work that mattered, your growth, your truth. Like the nightingale's song in the tale of the Emperor and the Nightingale, authenticity cannot be replicated or silenced. Their fabricated reality was never sustainable, and as it collapses, your light shines through the cracks. Let this moment reaffirm your strength. Justice has no need for noise. Your silence, your dedication, your unshakable focus, this was the loudest declaration of all. Their schemes failed not because of chance, but because of the immutable power of truth and resilience. The fallout of their actions isn't your burden to carry, it's theirs alone. And while they scramble, trying to hold on to the illusion of control, you ascend, steady and certain. Let them stew in the storm they conjured. You are the clear sky that remains after the winds die down, unclouded and untamed. Their karma is not your triumph. Your strength was never about them, but their failure serves as a reminder. The energy you put out into the world will always find its way back to you. Gossip is a weapon for the weak, a desperate tool wielded by those who fear the strength of silence and the resilience of authenticity. They use it to twist perceptions, to cast doubt, and to shroud the truth in shadows. Why? Because controlling how others see you gives them the illusion of power. Their insecurities, too vast to confront, spill out in whispers. They project their fears onto you, hoping the noise will drown out their own inadequacies. To keep themselves relevant, they tether their name to yours, believing that association with your shine can compensate for their lack of substance. But words, no matter how sharp, cannot carve reality. The tongue has no bones, but it is strong enough to break a heart, says an unknown but truthful voice. Yet you have proven that your heart is unyielding. Their words fall like arrows, but they strike no target. Why? Because you have chosen to dismantle their weapon, not through retaliation, but through authenticity. You let your life speak louder than their whispers, your actions echo longer than their fleeting gossip. By staying true to yourself, you've shattered their illusion of control. You don't wrestle in the mud they've stirred. You rise unbothered, knowing that truth has no need for defense. Gossip thrives on attention, but you've denied them that. Their words falter and die in the silence you've cultivated, a silence that speaks volumes. Your name remains untainted, not because they haven't tried, but because they cannot reach what is untouchable. This is their failure. Gossip, as potent as they thought it to be, has become their downfall. It reveals more about them than it does about you. The energy spent trying to tear you down only amplifies their flaws, their fears, their desperation. Meanwhile, you continue to ascend, grounded in your truth, unreachable by their petty attempts. You rise above because you know the secret. The power of gossip is an illusion. Words only have weight when you carry them, and you've refused to pick up the burden of their bitterness. You've turned their attempts into lessons, their noise into clarity. While they scramble to keep their lies alive, you move forward, your path illuminated by the unshakable truth of who you are. Their weapon has failed because you were never the target. Their aim was never your downfall. It was their need for significance, and now the same words they wielded against you are a mirror reflecting their own inadequacies. You've risen above, stronger and freer than they ever imagined possible. They tried to write your story with gossip, but you've taken the pen from their hands and written a masterpiece with your actions. You've shown the world what it means to rise above. Let this be your declaration. You will not be defined by their words. You have risen, and they have failed. You remain unbroken. Indifference is a fortress, unyielding and impenetrable, shielding you from the chaos others desperately try to drag you into. Gossip thrives on attention, like fire devours oxygen. By giving it none, you extinguish its flames. Drama collapses when there's no audience, and your silence becomes a mirror reflecting their powerlessness. They try to provoke, to prod, to stir, but your calm is an unbreakable wall. You starve their desperation, and in doing so, you preserve what matters most, your peace. When I faced constant rumors from those I worked alongside, the sting was real at first. Words, after all, can cut deeply, especially when they're wielded with intent to harm. But the moment I stopped giving them my energy, something changed. Their frustration grew because my indifference was louder than any retaliation I could have delivered. They needed my reaction, and when I refused to give it, their power evaporated. The gossip, once sharp and persistent, became hollow echoes. It faded, and so did their influence. That's why the Obsidian Inner Order was forged, for titans like you who refuse to be ordinary. This isn't some cozy, feel-good circle. It's a powerhouse council for those who bend reality to their will. Every week, over 450 dominators tap into electrifying calls that go beyond talk. They're the blueprints for elevation. And the best part? These aren't fleeting moments of inspiration. They're immortalized, recorded so you can lock and load whenever it's time to make your next power play. The private Discord? Forget community. This is a sanctum of power, a crucible where the sharpest minds and spirits exchange wisdom that can't be found anywhere else. For those who crave mastery, you'll unlock the treasure trove of modern manifestation mechanics, our secret grimoire of cosmic strategies. With 3 chapters ready for members, you'll transform your space into a vortex of abundance, wield elemental spellcraft to reshape the material world, and channel forces beyond comprehension to rise above the ordinary. And there's more. Raw, unfiltered interviews with real targeted individuals and video drops so disruptive they shake the digital overlords to their core. This isn't just a membership, it's a movement of chosen ones, a sanctuary where ascension isn't just a promise, it's the new baseline. Are you ready to stop seeking and start claiming? The path is here. The rise begins now. The link is in the description below. Step into your throne. You don't need revenge. Indifference is a response born of maturity and confidence, a refusal to be dragged into their mud. Revenge might feel tempting, but it binds you to their level. Indifference, on the other hand, leaves them stranded in the mess they created, watching as you rise above it, untouchable. They expected to control you, to pull you into their narrative, but your lack of care derailed their plans entirely. Their words are powerless when you don't carry them. Their drama cannot touch you when your focus remains on what matters. Indifference isn't passivity, it's strategy. It is the mastery of choosing where to invest your energy and denying others the satisfaction of stealing it. This isn't avoidance, it's strength. Strength to know your worth, to understand that their actions reveal more about them than they ever could about you. So let them gossip. Let them rage in their futile attempts to provoke you. Your silence speaks louder than any words they can muster. You've chosen peace, and in doing so, you've claimed the ultimate victory. They remain stuck in the web they've spun, while you move forward, unshaken and unbothered. Comment below. Silence is my strength. Your indifference is not just a shield, it's a weapon. It highlights their inability to affect you and amplifies your freedom. Let them exhaust themselves in their noise, while you enjoy the clarity of a mind undisturbed. Their drama ends where your peace begins. Obsession is a slow, consuming fire, and their fixation on you burns them from within. They see you, unshaken and rising, and it cuts deeper than they can admit. You are everything they cannot be, focused, resilient, untouchable. Their failure to match your stride feeds their need to tie themselves to your name, hoping your brilliance will obscure their irrelevance. But it doesn't. Instead, it magnifies their flaws, exposing their insecurities for all to see. Their obsession stems from fear. Fear of being forgotten, of fading into the background, of existing without meaning unless tethered to someone else's story. They fear your indifference, for it leaves them powerless. They thrive on reactions, on the idea that their words can pull you into their chaos. Yet you've denied them that satisfaction, and in doing so, you've forced them to confront the hollowness within. Their fixation is not admiration, it's envy, a desperate need to make themselves feel significant by latching onto your success. You've chosen not to engage. You've turned their noise into a faint hum at the edge of your awareness, a background distraction that never touches your focus. And this refusal to acknowledge them has left them stranded. Like Narcissus in Greek mythology, they are consumed by their own reflection, not of beauty, but of their shortcomings. Their obsession is a mirror they can't escape, forcing them to fixate on what they'll never control. This is their undoing. While they waste time watching your every move, you've been growing, achieving, ascending. You've turned their attempts at distraction into fuel for your ambition. They cannot touch you because you operate on a level they cannot reach. Your silence speaks volumes. It declares that their fixation is irrelevant to your purpose. And that's what stings the most, that you are thriving without them, that their drama doesn't even graze your momentum. They've shackled themselves to your name, but those chains are of their own making. You owe them nothing, not acknowledgement, not retaliation, not even a second thought. Your growth is their trigger, your success their mirror. They can't move forward because they are too busy watching you soar. Let them stay there, trapped in their obsession, while you continue to build, unbothered and unstoppable. Toxicity from those closest to you is the heaviest weight to carry, a silent burden that seeps into your spirit and clouds your clarity. Manipulation disguised as love, guilt weaponized to keep you tethered, and envy cloaked in concern are all signs of bonds that suffocate instead of support. Their smiles conceal daggers, their words drip with passive aggression, and their presence feels less like comfort and more like a cage. You have seen through this facade. You know the truth. Not every connection deserves to be nurtured. The manipulation often starts small, a guilt-laden favor here, an undermining comment there. They dismiss your dreams, mask their envy as advice, and twist your victories into inconveniences for themselves. Their criticism isn't constructive. It's a calculated strike meant to keep you doubting your worth. These dynamics are rooted in fear. Fear of your independence, your growth, your success. They fear being left behind and will do whatever it takes to chain you to their dysfunction. Your choice to prioritize your well-being was an act of self-respect. It wasn't about hate or revenge. It was about survival and growth. You didn't break those ties because you stopped caring. You broke them because they never cared in a way that nourished you. Letting go of toxic family or friends isn't abandonment, it's liberation. You've chosen to build a life free from manipulation, criticism, and envy, and in doing so, you've reclaimed your power. This decision speaks volumes about your strength. While they cling to their toxic cycles, you've broken free. You've chosen progress over stagnation, growth over guilt, and peace over their chaos. They may try to lure you back, guilt you into returning, or paint you as the villain in their story. But their narratives don't define you. You have redefined yourself by walking away from what no longer serves you. Every step you've taken forward is a testament to your resilience. The voices that once tried to drown you in doubt are now echoes fading into the distance. Their absence doesn't weaken you, it strengthens you. Your path may feel quieter, but it is clearer. In the silence of their absence, you hear the sound of your own truth, and it is louder and more beautiful than any toxic chorus could ever be. You will not carry the weight of their dysfunction. Your peace is worth more than their approval. You've stepped into your strength, unburdened and unshaken, leaving behind all that sought to hold you down. Revenge is a trap that ensnares the avenger as surely as it aims to harm the target. Its allure is seductive, promising satisfaction, justice, or balance, but all it delivers is a heavy chain of negativity, binding you to the very people you wish to escape. When you pursue revenge, you aren't moving forward, you're circling the same stagnant waters, unable to break free. Their actions, their wrongs, and their pettiness remain at the center of your focus, draining energy you could use to fuel your ascent. Revenge thrives on resentment, but resentment is a weight, a tether to the past that stunts your progress. You've seen it clearly. Retaliation is not power. It doesn't restore your peace or heal your wounds. It deepens them. Every ounce of energy spent plotting, seething, or retaliating is energy stolen from your own growth. They wanted to disrupt your balance, and revenge ensures they succeed. You are better than that. You've recognized that breaking free requires leaving their chaos behind, not engaging in it. Instead, you've made the choice that takes true strength. You've turned your focus inward, not to fester in anger, but to rise. Their negativity has become irrelevant, a faint echo in the distance as you channel your energy into self-improvement. Your success is not just your ultimate response, it's your liberation. By thriving, you've dismantled their attempts to define you. You've shown that your path is untouchable, your progress unstoppable, and your worth undeniable. This perspective isn't rooted in fear or avoidance. It's rooted in wisdom. The time you would have wasted in retaliation is now fueling your growth, honing your talents, and expanding your horizons. You've reclaimed the power they tried to take, not by playing their games, but by changing the rules. While they remained stuck, feeding off grudges and schemes, you've transcended. Their drama is nothing more than noise, and you no longer hear it. Gossip is fleeting, a brittle weapon that cracks under the weight of truth. At first it spreads like wildfire, fueled by those who thrive on drama, who hunger for distractions from their own mediocrity. But you, unshaken, unbothered, have stood steadfast in your authenticity, and that has been its undoing. Lies are quick, they sprint through whispers and nods. But as Edgar J. Moan said, "A lie has speed, but truth has endurance." And endurance is your domain. Gossip depends on momentum, on attention, on the belief that repetition equals reality. Yet you've given it nothing. You've neither fueled it with outrage, nor dignified it with denial. Instead, you've lived your truth day after day, until the noise faded into irrelevance. People grow tired of the same hollow stories, and the gossiper's desperation becomes apparent. Their narratives lose traction because they were never grounded in substance, only in envy and insecurity. What the gossipers fail to understand is that the truth is patient. It doesn't shout, doesn't demand validation. It waits, enduring beyond their attempts to distort it. While they scramble to maintain their lies, adding embellishments and twists, you've remained consistent. Your actions, your character, your life, all speak louder than their words ever could. Over time, the contrast between their fabrications and your authenticity becomes glaringly obvious. Their efforts were always destined to collapse. Gossip is unsustainable, a house built on sand, easily washed away by the tide of truth. They thought they could define you with their words, but they only revealed themselves, their insecurities, their desperation to matter by tearing down someone who truly does. You've outlasted them not because you fought their lies, but because you refused to be consumed by them. Your silence was not weakness, it was power. It was the declaration that their words held no weight in the reality you were shaping. By refusing to engage, you let their gossip burn out, leaving only the ashes of their failed schemes. What remains is your victory, not just over their lies, but over the entire concept of their control. They sought to chain you to their narrative, but your truth broke every link. This is why their gossip has ended. You didn't just survive it, you transcended it. Your life, your actions, your enduring strength have rendered their words obsolete. The people who once listened have turned away, uninterested in the empty echoes of their stories. Gossip may start with speed, but it always slows, faltering under the unyielding weight of truth. Their drama, their lies, their noise, they were never about you. They were about their inability to confront their own shadows. And now, as their gossip dies, you remain unscathed, your truth shining brighter than ever. Let this be your triumph. Not only have you outlasted their words, but you have proven that truth needs no defense. It endures. Always. Chosen ones, the path you've walked has been strewn with challenges, but you've proven that no weapon forged in malice can pierce the armor of your authenticity. The gossip was loud, but it faded. The schemes were calculated, but they unraveled. The obsession was consuming, but it consumed only those who bore it. Through it all you stood resolute, not because you were immune to their attempts, but because you refused to be defined by them. Your indifference is your shield, deflecting their negativity without effort. Your peace is the quiet storm that dismantles their chaos, leaving them stranded in the turbulence they created. And your success, It is the undeniable evidence that you have risen above every attempt to drag you down. Each step forward is a triumph, each achievement a declaration that you are unstoppable. They could not win because their weapons, gossip, envy, manipulation, were forged in weakness, while your strength lies in truth. Now is the time to keep walking in your purpose. Their noise is behind you, fading into irrelevance, while your path stretches ahead, illuminated by your resilience. Keep stepping over the gossip, unbothered by their smallness. Keep rising, your momentum undeniable, your victories undeniable. They are left watching as you ascend to heights they could never reach. You've come this far, not by chance, but by choice. Share your story, not for their validation, but for others who need to see what strength, focus, and purpose look like in action. Let your voice remind them that they too can rise above the noise. The narrative is yours now. Write it with truth, walk it with purpose, and inspire with your unapologetic light.